so tell everybody who you are.
My name is Sky Bertram.
And you are?
Rick Wasson, her father.
You're her father.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Tell us from the beginning what happened.
Well, she was born on January 11th, 2011.
And her name?
Carrie Bertram.
And how was your pregnancy when you were carrying her?
It was a bit rough. I started going into labor early, so they gave me shots to boost her lungs.
So while you were pregnant, they gave your baby shot?
They gave me shots for the baby.
Do you know what those shots were?
They didn't really explain. They just told me it was to boost her lungs, so that to make sure that her lungs she could breathe if she were to be born early. It was a series of 2 shots. I had to get one, and then I had to come back to the hospital 24 hours later to get another one. They had me on bed rest. Come January 11th, they wanted to induce me, so I went with it.
How old was she? How many weeks was she when
she was 37 weeks and like 2 days.
And she's your third child. She's your third baby, so you're a fairly experienced mother.
Yeah, she's my third baby. The delivery was kind of horrible. The doctor was not in there in time. I was crowning and had to push, and I had to wait what seemed like forever, but it was probably like 30 minutes that I had to wait, and I kept feeling the urge to push.
Why were they telling you to wait?
Because the doctor wasn't in there yet.
So you had to wait with the baby's head crowning for around 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
The doctor wasn't ready to deliver your baby.
Exactly. And when they finally started allowing me to push, he was actually in the hall when she was delivered, and the nurse delivered her.
And how was she when she was born?
She was perfect. All the nurses said that she stopped at a salon on the way out. She has these really dark roots and frosted tips. I've got this picture right here. It shows, it's really hard to capture on camera.
That's day one.
This is the day after she was born.
The day after she's born.
Mm-hmm. And you can see the dark roots and the frosted tips.
Yeah, wow. People pay money for that kind of hair.
Yeah, she got it naturally. It's so beautiful.
No, that's incredible, isn't it?
She was such a sweet baby. She was happy all the time.
All right, so talk to us. So how did they give her any injections on her first day?
They did. I can't remember which ones they gave her, but I know they did give her injections because they told me that she needed them, and my other 2 daughters got them, and they seemed to be okay. I was pretty much one of the people that, doctors know best, and I regret that.
Sure, I know. This is a very hard story for you to tell, and we're really proud of you telling it. We know how difficult it is. We're gonna look at some pictures of how old is she there? Look at this.
She was about a month and a half. That was right before her shots.
So she's developing.
She's smiling. Yes, that was one of her first smiles. I got her to smile right there, and I just had to take the picture. I was like, oh, it's so cute.
So cute. It's so cute. And
this picture is about a week before she passed away.
A little bit blurry, but she's
maybe we'll get to turn it that way.
And so talk about what happened. So you went in to feel well baby checkup. Is that what happened?
Well, we went in, and she was fine. She got her shots. After her shots, I want to talk about her a little bit right before her shots.
Please do.
She was very sweet. She was so happy all the time, and she had this routine. She was so smart. She knew she couldn't get in bed with me with Daddy in bed. She knew that when Daddy went to work, she didn't get in bed with me. Like, she knew when he went to work. As soon as he walked out the door, she was awake and crying. She didn't want a bottle. I would change her diaper, and I'd snuggle her in my arm, and she would just sleep right there. And, I'd watch her, and she just it was mine and her time. You know, because I had 2 other ones, and she just loved that time.
Okay.
After her shot, she changed.
Do you know what shot she had that day?
I should have brought them. I have her shot records in the car. I know she got the DTaP. I know that she got the DTaP for a fact.
MMR?
No, not MMR. That's a year-old shot. But she did get the DTaP. And she changed. She was crying all the time. Nothing made her happy anymore. We used to do this thing where we would cradle her in our arms, and then we'd lift her little arm up and we'd eat her ribs, and she loved it, but she didn't love that anymore. She cried and screamed. The only way she would sleep is if me or there was somebody else, and we would hold her, and that's the only way she would really sleep. And then occasionally you had to swaddle her so tight. Anyway, about a week before she actually passed away, I was telling everybody something was wrong with her. Her color changed, she didn't act right, and she swelled up. I called Monday. That's the picture where she had swelled up.
You can see that. See how swollen. So going from, let's have a look. We're going to go from, I'm just going to try and put this so you can see. So this is her happy before the shots, and this is her as she has swollen up. You can see a week before she passed. If you look at those two like that. Okay.
Anyway, I took her to the doctor. I called Monday. I got her a doctor's appointment Tuesday, the very next day. And I told the doctor there's something wrong with her. They checked her blood. They done some chest x-rays. And they told me she had a little cold. Just a cold. And that very Friday, Good Friday, 2 days before Easter, she passed away in her sleep. We went to the hospital. You know, we tried CPR. We called the ambulance. The ambulance they were outside for like an hour before they even got her to the hospital, and the hospital's 5 minutes away. We got to the hospital, and they kept me and my husband in the triage room with an officer. They treated us. We couldn't leave that room like we had done something wrong. The doctor finally come and got us, and they took us to another ER room, and that's where they told us that she passed away. They couldn't get her back. They let us go in there where she was, and I held her, and I just prayed for her to start breathing. They finally told me that they had to take her, and they said it was Mississippi law. Anybody under 18 had to have an autopsy, whether I wanted it or not, which of course I wanted it because I want to know what was wrong with her. The preliminary results that they told me, it was undetermined, and then they told me the final results was undetermined, and I had to petition the state of Mississippi for her death certificate because they don't recognize undetermined death. I didn't settle with the undetermined death because I can't move on from that. When I talked to the pathologist, they flew somebody in from Texas, a woman from Texas, in to do her autopsy. And when I called and spoke with her, I asked her if it was SIDS. And she had said that it wasn't SIDS, that it's like SIDS, but they don't call it SIDS anymore. And she didn't have that either. They called it sudden unexpected infant death syndrome. She said it was like that, unexpected, but SIDS leaves signs like milk in the lungs, and she didn't have any of that. She didn't have any signs of suffocation. She didn't have anything. So it's just stuck at undetermined. When we left the hospital, the police wouldn't let us go home without them. They had to escort us home, and they had to go in and take pictures of her bed and of my room, and treated us like we did it, like we killed her. And that hurt. There was rumors going around saying my 3-year-old had told the police that my husband dropped her on her head, and of course that didn't happen. My 3-year-old could barely even make a sentence at the time. The funeral was really hard. And this is where I get to see her now. This is where I get to go talk to her. CVS pictures are Walgreens pictures are very poor quality. It cuts a lot of it off and zooms it at the top. It says, "Our loving daughter." And right here it says Care Bear, because that was her nickname. The whole time I was pregnant with her, I called her Care Bear since we were naming her Carrie. I don't know if you want to show it. I've got this tattoo for her. But I know in my heart, I know in my heart that it was her vaccinations. I have found so much peace after watching Vax, the movie. I have found so much peace. And if it wasn't for him, I don't even know what I would think, because I was all for vaccinations. And he talks me into going to see the movie Vax. You know, I'm a pretty open-minded person. And I watched that movie and I was blown away. There's so much evidence. And why would they do this to our children? It's our choice, you know? They're our kids. Why do they get to make the decisions for them? And, you know, I'm not completely against vaccinations, because I know some have helped, but we need safer vaccinations. We need the metals taken out of them. We don't need all that.
So as Grandpa and Father too, it's beautiful. What goes through your mind when you think what they did to your granddaughter?
It angers me. It angers me that this is allowed to continue. We haven't had no answers, and for some reason, Cheryl Peoples invited me to the MPVR group, and I started studying and started researching. And when we had the chance to see Vax, the Lord told me I had to get my daughter there, because there was answers that she needed. And he was right.
You're absolutely right.
A couple more things I would like to add is, you know, the health department is involved. The health department don't even keep track. The only thing they keep track of is if your child is up to date on their vaccinations. Carrie passed away at 3 months, 11 days. She didn't make it to her 4-month shot. She passed away. The health department kept sending me stuff in the mail telling me that she was behind. And it brought back everything all over again. They just kept sending it. I finally called them and I told them, I said, do you guys not communicate? She's passed away. Stop sending me this stuff. That's all they cared about, was her getting her vaccinations. That's ridiculous. She passed away. You should know that. I mean, and I don't remember getting a pathology report at the time that she passed away. And last week I had called the coroner in Boonville. It is a new coroner than when she passed away. And when she passed away, everything was on paperwork and not computer, and they didn't transfer anything to the computer from that. He had told me he would go and try to find her files because I requested the pathology report, the investigation report, the name of the pathologist and phone number, and he said he would get that for me. He called me yesterday and told me he hadn't forgotten me, but they didn't have a file on her. So he told me that he is going to contact the state medical examiner and see if they have anything. Like, he didn't know anything. He was asking me questions like, did she go to the hospital and how she passed away and all that. He didn't have anything on her. Where is her file? It's just not there.
There really are no words to, because you do have a lot of support, you have a lot of, so much love coming in here. Your story is hugely important.
Even if it saves one.
You can know that it will. Now, which one can you have?
Oh, you can have all. You can have.
No, do you have copies?
Yes, on my phone. I printed these this
Well,
morning.
this is the one that we'd love to travel with us because she's happy.
It would be nice seeing that she's kind of going around the U.S.
Right, so can you hold on a sec while I stick I'm going to stick it on the, you can choose where she is. I'm just going to get the sellotape, 1 second. Carrie is officially on board with us.
It's out of focus. I don't know what to do to it. Oh, there we go.
And I'll
Care
take
if I take a picture of that?
Of course you can. So Hayley, meet Carrie, meet Eric. There she goes. Right, we are now going to go and sign the bus spells. Do you remember what number?
The fight for children's health has hit a turning point, and your support has brought us to this moment.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
pledged to find out what is driving the country's rise in autism.
Scientists are scared to ask the question.
This is an epidemic, and we need to find the causes, and we need to stop it.
Other issues PhD has been pushing for years are finally gaining mainstream traction.
The vaccine itself does have profound risk.
We are removing pharma members from FDA advisory committees.
We are working to change the federal fluoride recommendations.
Removing all petroleum-based food dyes.
We're going to change things for real this time.
This is the moment we've been fighting for. Please give today and help us make the most of this opportunity.